The story of a basketball player who started as a substitute for the Guangdong South China Tigers in the CBA League and eventually became the NBA god and global idol. My name is Jianghu, and I am very panicked now. The team is trailing 0.3 in the finals, and the coach asked me to play. I am at a loss. I never expected that in the end, I would still become the football king. Ding, the legendary player system is loading. In the 2017 NBA, a super powerhouse emerged. Various incredible goals and performances have made people exclaim that new monsters have emerged in the basketball industry. First season. Monsters from the ancient East landed in Barclays. Second season. The inexplicable evil demon king is approaching the NBA. Third season. The despicable and shameless thief ravaged the basketball industry. The fourth season. The magical boys of the East have created miracles. The fifth season. Jianghu generals are approaching the throne. The sixth season. The supreme new basketball god will patrol his people today. Keywords of the novel. From the South China Tigers to the NBA king without a pop-up window, from the South China Tigers to the NBA king. Download the complete text, and read the latest chapters from the South China Tigers to the NBA king. Chapter 1. System Activation, Template Odom. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 1 System Activation, Template Odom. Zheng Fanri, be harder, Zheng Fanri. What are you soft about? You're such a soft guy. On the field of the game, as the team's power forward Zheng Fanri was once again grabbed by the opponent for a frontcourt rebound from the head, Guangdong head coach Du Feng finally couldn't bear to call a timeout. Jianghu, move around and get ready to go on stage. Okay, coach. Sitting next to the water dispenser, Jiang jumped up from the bench with excitement and nervousness. Today is his 30th day traveling here, coming to Guangdong South China Tigers, a strong CBA team. Apart from playing for 8 minutes during the end of the regular season in garbage time, he has been spending the rest of his time by the water dispenser. In this team with ample reserves in the interior, he is the fourth choice for the team's interior, with the top 3 choices being Yi Jianlian, Su Wei, and Zheng Fanri. In most normal games, the 3 of them almost divide up all of their playing time. When the martial arts team enters the game, the dust has settled and the game has entered the final stage, commonly known as garbage time. However, with the injury of the main power forward Su Wei in the previous game, the fate of the martial arts world has changed, and it is obvious that he now has the opportunity to play in the non-garbage time period before the outcome of the game is determined. Host authentication in progress. Legendary player system loading. The legendary player system has been successfully loaded and is currently being loaded for you. Congratulations to the host for obtaining a template binding opportunity. We are randomly binding templates for you. Template binding successful. The template bound for you is the 2011.2012 season Lamar Odom. Congratulations on successfully binding the template Lamar Odom and earning the title, Left-Hand Magician. When wearing this title, you can increase your left-hand dribbling ability by 40%, left-hand passing ability by 50%, and left-hand projection ability by 30%. Detected that the host's physical function is too weak, we are strengthening it for you. Successfully reinforced, overall host rating improved. 61.83 When the martial arts world was still warming up on the sidelines and preparing to play, a bunch of messy information flooded into his mind. I've been waiting for so long, and finally, the essential welfare system for travelers that I've been longing for has arrived. You even gave me a template. Left-handed magician Odom. Udang. Is it the former Lakers champion member, Khloe Kardashian's ex-husband, Lamar Odom, who almost died from XD? In the 2011.2012 season, if I remember correctly, Lamar Odom should have been the NBA's best sixth man of the season. At this time, Tencent Sports in China is also broadcasting this game, and Guangdong Hongyuan's decision to replace the player has clearly caught their attention. The Guangdong team has replaced the 18-year-old young player, Jianghu. He is 206 centimeters tall and has an arm span of 221 centimeters. His physical fitness is very good, and he can run and jump. Although there is still some distance left before he can compete in the NBA, he is also one of the most promising young players in China in recent years besides Zhou Qi. This is his first time representing the Guangdong South China Tigers in the finals of this season, and it is also his first appearance in the CBA playoffs. It seems that Ri was grabbed by XJ for 4 frontcourt rebounds in 2 consecutive rounds, which made Director Du very popular. He even replaced him with a young player who can only play during garbage time. Let's take a look at what kind of effect our martial arts partner, Lian, can achieve on the inside. The martial arts world is still in a state of being overwhelmed by the system, and Coach Du Feng has already murmured in his ear. Xiao Jiang, after you go up, pay attention to protecting your rebounds, don't be timid, and go fight more, okay? Don't be like some people, cowards. After saying these words, Director Du Feng turned his head and glared at Zheng Fanri sitting on the bench again. Ali shyly scratched his head, completely afraid to look directly at Director Du's death stare. Coach Du Feng turned his head again and continued to explain to the martial arts world, go cover up for the outside world more. If there are good opportunities, be bold and take action. Don't be afraid of your head and feet. Do you understand? I know Director Du. The martial arts world is still digesting the huge amount of information in its mind, and its guidance from Du Feng is only a perfunctory nod, appearing somewhat absent-minded. Du Feng was also filled with worry when he saw the absent-minded world in his heart. This kid, haven't you woken up yet? If it weren't for Zheng Fanri's poor rebounding protection, as the head coach, he would have given Zheng Fanri some warning and pressure. He would never have substituted an inexperienced player in the second quarter of the game. He was originally thinking that this little guy would bring him some surprises, but seeing the current attitude of the martial arts world, it would be good to lose a few points on the court. I hope his performance is not too outrageous. After digesting all the information in his mind, the Jianghu finally came to his senses and said to Coach Du Feng, "Don't worry, Director Du. After playing, I will do my best to help the team win this game." Just kidding, Odom was the 6th best player of the 2011-2012 season. Although the Lakers didn't make it to the NBA Finals that season, Odom's outstanding performance was definitely beyond doubt. This kind of Odom, playing in a CBA Finals, isn't it just a random killing? Jianghu looked up at the scoreboard on the wall. Currently, this game is the 4th game of the 2016-2017 CBA Finals. In terms of big scores, Guangdong is already 0.3 behind. Currently, the 4th game is in the second quarter, with Guangdong South China Tigers 41.50 xj Guanghui shares. Jianlian has already scored 17 points and 11 rebounds in the first 2 quarters of the game. Almost all of his points were scored in a 1-on-point-1, hard-hitting style, with almost every goal given his all and no easy scoring. After playing in the martial arts world, it was obvious that Lian was very tired, and the sweat on his face and the constant gasping sound had already explained everything. Even though Jianlian has done his best, Guangdong team is still behind by 9 points. The fundamental reason is that Guangdong's outside shooting did not open up, which limited Jianlian's attacking environment. There's no way, this XJ team is the strongest XJ team in their history. Although Zhou Qi is not mature enough, he already feels like a big killer in the CBA. His agile footwork allows him to defend an outside player's shot from the 3-point line in 1 second, and then return to the basket in the next second to assist in defending the inside, almost supporting the entire XJ defense system with his own strength, making him the thick eyebrow brother of the CBA version. In addition, with Blachy in the interior, Li Zhen and Abdul Sharam in the front, this XJ's strength can almost defeat any team in the history of the CBA. Even facing the Shanghai Shark led by Dayo, there is a 45% chance of winning. If it were in the previous martial arts world, even if he stepped onto the court and did his best, there would be no way to deal with such scenes. After all, he was just an unknown young general who was useless except for his height and arm span. Until now, it has changed. After a magical system transformation, Jianghu can clearly feel that their body has been changed in all aspects. Basketball in his world seems to have become much simpler than before. System: what is the basis for evaluating your player's ability value? The system seemed to be asked this question, and after a moment of silence, a line of text popped up in front of the world. This system comes from the advanced level, and the system's ability value is determined from the highest level basketball league on Earth, NBA. The host's current ability value is 83, and the system determines it as an outstanding starting player for a strong NBA team. Great, it's a good system. After receiving a positive answer from the system, the inner world of the martial arts world finally dispelled all concerns. It's time for an explosive opening. The pause ends, the game continues. The martial arts world first used the system's ability value viewing function. At this time, the lineup on the Guangdong field. Guards: Zhou Peng, 66, Williams, 76, forwards: Ren Junfei, 62, Jianghu, 83, and Yi Jianlian, 78. XJ team lineup. Defenders: Zaire Lijiang, 65, Koblanc, 65, forwards: Li Zhen, 69, Blake, 77, Zhou Qi, 77. The martial arts world looked back at Zheng Fanri's ability value and surprisingly only had 63. No wonder Guangdong team had been falling behind before coming on the stage in the martial arts world. Even though Yi Jianlian's ability value was already the highest in the game, he couldn't resist his teammates' overall strength being crushed by XJ team. Guangdong team has the ball rights, and Wims advances with the ball. After arriving at the front field, Williams immediately called for a pick and roll, and the martial arts world pushed Ren Junfei forward to provide cover for Williams. Wims rushed over from the right side of the martial arts world, while the martial arts world bounced outside the three-point line. After breaking through and entering the inner line, Williams was immediately sandwiched by Zhou Qi and Zaire Lijiang, and their aggressive pressure put Williams in a stoppage. Pass the ball, Williams. Just as Wims was on the brink of error, a sound suddenly came from the top of the arc. At this moment, the sound of his teammate asking for the ball was like mineral water in the desert to Wims. He immediately threw the ball behind him like a hot potato with all his strength. At this moment, the person standing at the top of the arc is the martial arts world. The nearest defensive player, Li Zhen, is about 2 meters away from him and has no intention of going over and shooting at him. Because in this era of CBA, there are very few insiders who are good at shooting, and even fewer insiders who are good at three-point shooting. In Li Zhen's world, except for Yi Jianlian, the Guangdong team's inner line receives the ball from this position, which can be said to have no threat, can be defended, but not necessary. Faced with such a large vacancy, if the martial arts world does not take action, it is a lack of respect from the opponent's defense. He dribbled the ball in place and then aimed directly at the basket to shoot. Schwa, the basketball spun and ran towards the basket, falling straight into the net. Wims was sandwiched and passed to the outside world. The world received the ball, but there was no one in front of him. He took a three-point shot. Beautiful, with a three-point shot, the young player, Jianghu, completed his first career goal in just 8 seconds. For a young player, this is definitely a good start. 44-50, the difference on the field returned to 6 points. Well done, Xiaojiang. After scoring the goal, team leader Yi Jianlian also ran over and patted the back of the martial arts world for the first time, smiling to express his liking for this young player. In the NBA, Yi Jianlian is relatively quiet and often criticized for lacking leadership skills. On the one hand, his English proficiency is not strong enough, making it difficult to communicate with other players. On the other hand, his team status is low, and there are powerful players everywhere, making his words completely weightless. But in the CBA, it's different. Yi Jianlian is an absolute leader, and his words cannot be questioned by anyone in Guangdong. After all, he was selected by the NBA lottery back then. Although he didn't play his own world, when he returned to this low-level league, he was still the absolute king. Just like a person from a higher level coming to a lower level, that kind of confidence is absolutely unquestionable. There was no panic or pride in the martial arts world. Instead, he calmly and confidently patted Yi Jianlian's back and smiled, saying, "Brother Lian, if you have the chance, you can also pass on more to me. I'm here to help you win the championship." Just kidding, is Odom, one of the Lakers' three highs, a person who has earned a reputation. End of this chapter. Chapter 2. Finals in progress. You are listening at Novel Full. Audio. Chapter 2 Finals in progress. A 3-point shot did not show any timidity on the XJ team. In the eyes of XJ team, this ball is purely lucky for Guangdong, and overall strength, XJ is still a stronger side. Coach Li Qiuping confidently approached the sidelines and shouted to the inside, pull back, tactic number 3. After arriving at the front court, all XJ players opened up and the ball was passed to Blake by West Heat River. Blake received the ball from the low post for singles. At this moment it is the martial arts world that is defending Bleach. Blanche is 211 centimeters tall and weighs 116 kilograms. Whether in the NBA or CBA, he is the standard center figure. But in the XJ team, he is a power forward because the center position of the XJ team has the hope of the entire XJ fans and even Chinese fans. Zhou Qi. If the center position of Blake is mediocre, then the power forward position of Blake is definitely a powerful weapon. With a height of 211 centimeters and a weight of 119 kilograms, coupled with years of training in NBA skills, coming to the CBA is completely at the level of a demon king. Blaze seemed to know this himself, and upon receiving the ball, a contemptuous smile immediately appeared on his face, as if the young player in front of him in singles was even simpler than eating and drinking. The martial arts world also showed a kind smile, and he did not feel any pressure due to Bleach's physical fitness. Although his weight is lighter than Bleach, he is very clear about the strengths and weaknesses of the player in front of him. Blanche's weight is there, but his back-to-back singles skills are average and not very threatening. Moreover, his speed is not fast and his breakthrough threat is not significant. His main attacking technique is his precise mid-range jump shot. If an average person defends Blake, his interference may be limited, but the physical fitness of the martial arts world determines that he is actually very suitable for defending Blake. Because he has an arm span of 221 centimeters, it is definitely a huge interference for Blanche, who loves projection. Blake received the ball from a high position and immediately placed it in front of him, sweeping it in a large loop, attempting to cause a foul in the martial arts world. The martial arts world remained unmoved and immediately raised their hands to block Bleacher's attack route. Blanche immediately collected the ball and began to gain possession and accelerate, attempting to break through from the left side of the martial arts world. At the foot of the martial arts world, he quickly retreated 2 steps, then stood still, waiting for Bleach to collide. Blanche accelerated with a heavy head, and the young man in front of him looked weak and unstoppable. Blanche has already figured out his scoring method. He first used brute force to break through the martial arts world and obtain a position, then made a quick stop to throw and score. After scoring, he extended his arms to show a strong posture and shouted at this damn Guangdong home fans. The fact is, as soon as Bleach collided with the weak young man in front of him, he immediately fell back, and his perfect plan had already been partially completed. Just as Blanche was about to throw, the referee's whistle sounded. Do. XJ team number 0, dribbling and hitting, offensive foul. What? Blanche spread out his hands and looked at the referee with an incredulous gaze. Pause. Misjudgment, this is a misjudgment. XJ team head coach Li Qiuping on the sidelines also jumped hastily. From his perspective, this offensive foul in the martial arts world is definitely suspected of foot movement. This is a correct decision, look at the big screen yourself. The referee looked down upon Blake shrugging, but in the face of Li Qiuping's questioning, the referee still stood up a bit and explained, after all, this meritorious head coach still has a certain influence in the CBA, so the referee naturally did not want to offend him. Blanche and Li Qiuping looked at the big screen on the wall, and the replay was very clear, showing that the martial arts team took 2 steps back at the fastest speed, then protected themselves with both hands in front of them, and stood with legs straight backwards. This was a standard offensive foul without any problems. The commentator from Tencent Sports also stated for the first time, the replay showed no problem. This was a clean offensive foul, and the 8th young player, Jiang, made achievements on both ends of the defense in the last 2 rounds. His presence disrupted the rhythm of XJ team, and he is likely to be the X factor in this match, helping Guangdong team find the rhythm. If the players and audience present cannot hear the commentary, the martial arts world will definitely scoff at it. X factor. If you were in the martial arts world before obtaining the system, you would definitely be excited about this word. But now, sorry, he's not interested in factors like X anymore because he is here to become the savior, to turn the tide and support the general of Xia, to rule this field. He wants to lead the Guangdong team to create a miracle that almost no one can overturn after being 0.3 behind. During the pause, the performance of the martial arts team won praise from their teammates. Yi Jianlian took the lead, while other players followed suit. Coach Du Feng, who had always been serious and reserved, also showed a long-awaited smile to the martial arts team, watching Zheng Fanrich at the end of the bench. Zheng Fan's gaze was fixed on the martial arts world, with both envy and a hint of hatred in his eyes. He wished he could immediately transform into the martial arts world and receive praise from Coach Du Feng, who was elegant and easy-going. Zheng Fanri's gaze was noticed by the martial arts world, but they only glanced at him and didn't take it to heart. Destined not to be the same person along the way, why bother with him too much? From the moment the system was activated, everyone was not on the same track. The arena in the martial arts world is NBA, it is the sea of stars, and what I have been thinking about so much is to sit firmly in this team and rotate. The game continues, it's Guangdong team's turn to attack. After arriving at the front court, Yi Jianlian and Zhou Qi were stuck in the inner line, and Williams was adept at facing the pressure from Sierra Lijiang. His eyes lit up and he was preparing to play a solo goal. But soon he couldn't laugh anymore because Coach Li Qiuping waved his hand on the sidelines and Abudu Salomo immediately grabbed it. As the core foreign player of this team, Williams had a difficult time in the NBA Finals, and being sandwiched has become a common occurrence. He was only slightly disappointed in this and then transferred the ball. At the top of the arc, the Jianghu team received the ball, and at this point, Yi Jianlian had already stuck in a good position, reaching out to signal the Jianghu team to pass the ball. But Jianghu glanced at him and Zhou Qi was preparing to go around at this moment. If Jianghu passes the ball over, the chance of making a mistake is not small. The martial arts world will press their hands down, indicating a slower pace and making their own move. Yi Jianlian nodded. His outstanding performance in the past 2 offensive and defensive rounds made Al Yen willing to give the martial arts world a chance to showcase himself. The head coach Du Feng frowned on the sidelines, but still sat in his seat. He had no objection to the ball. As a young person, being brave and willing to fight is a good thing. Only by being brave and trying out the ball can one make rapid progress. But if he doesn't score this goal, he will stand up and tell the martial arts world, next round, give the ball to Yi Jianlian. Holding the ball from a high position in the martial arts world, the defender in front of him is Blaze. Blanche immediately leaned over and supported Jianghu with his hands to prevent Jianghu from suddenly shooting. Obviously, the crisp and sharp 3-pointers just now left a deep impression on Blaze. Faced with Bryce's defense, the martial arts world was impressed. It seems that this guy thinks I'm a soft shooter who only knows how to shoot. That's good, I'll give you a surprise. The martial arts world smiled slightly, placed the ball in front of them, and imitated Breck's previous posture to make a big loop foul. Blanche panicked and immediately took a half step back. Taking advantage of Bleach's unstable center of gravity, the player immediately handed the ball to their left hand and lowered their center of gravity to accelerate and break through from the left. Blanche clearly did not expect that the martial arts world would still have this skill, and suddenly, he was swept clean. The martial arts world has reached a medium distance, with no one defending in front of it, and has obtained a rare large space. This kind of free scoring opportunity will naturally not be missed in the martial arts world. Stop quickly to collect the ball and take a direct shot from mid-range. Schwa, the wonderful sound of basketball rubbing against the net rang out again. Hitting this goal, the martial arts world turned around and shouted at the home audience, instantly making the atmosphere of watching the game at home lively. Jianghu, medium distance is the best. He dribbled past Blake from the left side with his left hand. I don't know if it's luck or strength, but without a doubt, his energetic and daring attitude is exactly what this Guangdong team, which is currently lagging behind by a large margin, needs. Yes, the inexperienced young player in the martial arts world is injecting vitality and confidence into this precarious team. End of this chapter. Chapter 3. Continuous Strength and Intense Confrontation. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 3. Continuous Strength and Intense Confrontation. A 3-run without defense, a short stop at mid-range after a breakthrough, and the Jianghu team scored 5 consecutive points. The score on the field was rewritten to 46.50. From a big score perspective, XJ team is leading 3.0 and winning this season's championship is just a matter of time. However, as the past king of Guangdong, we hope they can win one game, at least avoid being swept away. This game is their last chance, with only 4 points left in the first half. With the last 4 minutes left, can Guangdong team equalize or overtake the score before the end of the half? If they can equalize and overtake before the end of the half, they still have a chance in this finals, but if they fall behind and enter the second half, I can't think of any reason why they can win this game. The commentator kept analyzing the situation on the field. Without a doubt, the pressure given by XJ team was too great, and even at the home ground in Guangdong, no one ensured that Guangdong could win. But this is the home ground of Guangdong, and the fans here are extremely loyal to the Guangdong South China Tigers team. Even if they are 20 points behind, they will not stop cheering for Guangdong, let alone being only 4 points behind now. After scoring 5 points in a row in the martial arts world, the atmosphere at the scene has already been ignited. DJ shouted loudly, Guangdong team number 8 has scored 5 consecutive points, and success is already waving to us. Don't remain silent and bow your head, the champion is waiting. All fans and friends, let's show our last courage and strength to cheer for Guangdong team. I said Guangdong team, you said, come on. Guangdong team. Come on. Guangdong team. Come on. I said Guangdong team, you said defense. Guangdong team. Defense. Guangdong team. Defense. The DJ on site shouted loudly, and the audience was also infected by his enthusiasm, roaring along with his rhythm. The cheers of the fans quickly spread to the field. Although the CBA venue is not as spacious as the NBA, the 9,000 fans who came to the venue were all Guangdong fans, and their enthusiastic cheers also moved the Guangdong players. Brothers, defend seriously, we still have a chance. Let's win this game first. Yi Jianlian applauded heavily with both hands as he stepped back and loudly encouraged his teammates. The leader stood up and spoke up, and the defensive enthusiasm of the team members suddenly rose. The martial arts world will not neglect him. He is here to win the game, and relying solely on offense cannot win the game. Amidst the cheers of the entire crowd, the XJ team began their attack. In the past 2 rounds, Guangdong team has scored consecutively. If XJ cannot score, the score will continue to widen. So for XJ team, this round is a crucial one. Zaire Lijiang dribbled the ball to the front court, and Zhou Qi came up to pick and roll. Yi Jianlian closely followed Zhou Qi, constantly challenging his body and not giving him a chance to receive the ball in singles. Bryce received the ball and immediately dribbled inside. This time, the defensive team did not choose to create an offensive foul, but instead stubbornly headed up. He placed his left foot in front of him, and the tip of his right foot firmly supported the ground, preventing Blechy from hitting his position. Instead, he forced Blechy's body to come to a stop. Blanche clearly didn't expect this little guy to be so well prepared that he stopped the ball. He wanted to make a move, but the raised arm in the martial arts world made it difficult for him to make a move. If he made a move in such a crucial round with high difficulty, he would definitely be scolded by Coach Li Qiuping if he couldn't make it. He doesn't want to take on this risk. Fortunately, the outfielder Zhilijiang noticed the situation here and immediately ran empty-handed to make a layup under the basket. Seeing the empty cut of Zhilijiang, Blaze's eyes lit up and he delivered the ball from the crotch of the martial arts world with a hit and pass. After receiving the ball, Zaire Lijiang immediately launched a 3-step layup. Zhou Peng, who was defending him, had already been left behind by him, while Yi Jianlian kept blocking Zhou Qi, completely ignoring him. Zaire Lijiang smiled slightly and prepared to accept this relaxed 2 points. He came to the basket, jumped, and laid up. Just before he took off, he felt a strong wind coming from behind. It's too late. Zaire Lijiang has no intention of avoiding. Since you are here, let's fight against you. He replaces one hand with 2 hands in the air, exerts his strength under his feet, and wants to turn this layup into a dunk. The person who came was from the martial arts world. He had been observing Blake's facial expression when he stopped the ball, and it was obvious that Blake's expression had become much more excited when he cut in at the Surilai River. Therefore, the martial arts world judged that there must be someone behind the scenes who cut. So when Blanche passed the ball from under his crotch, he was not shocked at all, but decisively released Blanche and rushed to the basket to defend. The 2 of them were fighting in the air, without any water in the martial arts world. They took off vertically, with both hands together, and a volleyball block-style cover came from behind. Zaire Lijiang's physical fitness is quite good among the guards, but unfortunately he meets people from the martial arts world. In terms of physical fitness, the martial arts world can be said to crush him in all dimensions of height, weight, arm span, and strength. Nailboard Big Hat, young player in the martial arts world, once again demonstrated his physical fitness. After blocking Blake's cut, he returned to the defense basket and delivered a brilliant block. Zaire Lijiang was hit in the air, and his whole body crashed straight into the basket. He was stunned, completely unaware that the young man he had just replaced would be so fierce, sending out such a violent seal. Blanche was also confused. He thought he would add 1 assist, but he didn't expect this young man to react so quickly. The person with the clearest mind on the field at this moment is Jianghu. He didn't have time to give himself this block and was complacent. Instead, he immediately passed the ball to Yi Jianlian and ran empty-handed towards the front court. His speed was very fast, and Bleach was left far behind from the start. Arriving at the front court, the XJ team only had 1 Colon Blanc left to defend. Brother Lien, here. As soon as he reached the 3-point line, Jiang immediately turned around and called for Yi Jianlian to pass the ball. Without hesitation, Yi Jianlian immediately threw the ball in his hand towards the front court. Catch, dribble, take big strides. With a 1.2-meter long leg in the martial arts world, the left hand holds the ball and the European step rushes towards the basket. Korenbuck fought and retreated, reaching the basket. 1 step, 2 steps, 3 steps. The martial arts world stepped on the 3-point line, took 3 steps, and then directly took off to dunk. Kolan Bai Ku remained noncommittal and took off directly. He had no intention of rushing towards the ball, but rather towards the arm of the martial arts world. He wanted to hold on to the arm of the martial arts world and pull it down, ending this fast attack with a foul. The martial arts community saw his plan, but there was no intention of retreating. Instead, they clenched their hands on the basketball and fiercely threw it towards the basket. The two of them were in contact in the air, and Clanback hung his hands on the arms of the martial arts world. In the martial arts world, there was no hard fight. He let go of his right hand, which was caught by Kubalank, and held the ball with one hand in his left hand, fiercely hitting the basket. Ah! After hitting the ball in the martial arts world, he tightly grasped the basket, and once he stabilized his body's center of gravity, he immediately rolled down from the basket. Then, with an uncontrollable posture, he charged straight towards the Colin Blanc and knocked him down with one hit. Then, he jumped straight over him and roared at the audience at the bottom line. "What kind of thing, just want to guard against me, can you guard against it? Something that exceeds one's own abilities." Lying on the ground, Clanback himself was already very unhappy about being humiliated by his crotch if he didn't commit a foul, and he was even more infuriated when he heard the mockery from the martial arts world. He quickly got up from the ground and punched the martial arts world directly from behind. At the moment when the martial arts world came down from the basket, he had a premonition that he would be attacked by the Kubailan Ku, but he did not dodge, but actually received the punch. It hurts a bit, but it still holds on. But I don't know if XJ can withstand the consequences of this punch. Doodle doodle. Sleeping trough, we're fighting. The martial arts world and the Karenbuck. The whistles of the 3 referees on the field all sounded for the first time. The audience at the scene stood up in an instant, all of whom had already stood up to watch the game. 2 smaller referees grabbed Clanback, while a slightly taller referee got stuck in the game and refused to let him fight back. "I won't fight back." The martial arts world did not fight back with fists, but instead chose to raise their hands high and look at the referee with innocent eyes. "But you must give us a fair judgment." "No problem." The referee felt a lot more comfortable when he saw the attitude of the martial arts world. He was afraid of fighting back in the martial arts world, and it would escalate into a brawl between 2 teams, which would be laughed at by the national audience. It would be difficult for him to have the chance to make such a crucial game judgment in the future. Looking back at Kolan Bai Ku's side, he actually wanted to continue charging into the martial arts world, but fortunately, the 2 referees took timely action and forcefully dragged him to the sidelines. The chief referee looked at the martial arts world, then at Kubailan Ku. The more he looked at him, the more unpleasant he became. "I ran over directly and gave him a malicious foul, regardless of the situation. Are you blind? He bumped into me, can't you see?" But Bai Lank refused to resist and continued his theory. Calm down, or you'll be expelled immediately." The chief referee is not a vegetarian, and once again sounded the whistle in his mouth to issue a warning to Clanback. "You watch the video, mad, watch the video shit. Do." The referee extended his left hand flat and raised his index finger upwards, making another gesture of judgment. Technical fouls. Malicious fouls and technical fouls by Kulanbai, expelled from the field. "Watch the video, you idiot, watch the video. He hit me." Everything happened too quickly, so fast that the coaches on both sides had not yet reacted, but the Blanc had already been expelled. After Kubailan was sent off, the referee ran to the technical station to watch the video. The video shows that Clanback had already committed a foul when he laid up in the martial arts world, and his level of foul at that time was enough to give him a malicious foul. Subsequently, the martial arts team dunked, but Bai Lank was knocked away. After landing, the martial arts world collided with Kulan Bai Ku, looking completely unable to control his body posture and showing no intentional elements. Of course, the subsequent trash talk in the martial arts world was also clearly replayed on the big screen. What kind of thing, just want to guard against me, can you resist it? Something beyond one's control. End of this chapter. Chapter 4. Reverse Surpassing of Scores. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 4. Reverse Surpassing of Scores, Jianghu block, quickly defend and counterattack. The XJ team only has Karabakh to defend, accelerate in the martial arts world, decisively charge into the frame, and engage in a physical confrontation between the two in the air. There was a foul action in the air in the Kolonbuk, but the martial arts team cleverly avoided it and avoided the accident. Jianghu dunk, beautiful smashing dunk, hanging the basket and then landing, the landing was a bit unstable. He bumped into the Ko by Lan Ko, crossed over Ko Lan Ko's body, and celebrated arrogantly in the audience. Top 10 balls, the top 10 balls of this game. But Bai Lang stood up and directly punched the back of the martial arts world. He was stunned and couldn't accept such a result. The referee was very wise, whistling decisively and directly calling for a malicious foul. However, Ko Lanbake still refused to comply and refused to scratch. Li Qiuping rushed over, but it was too late. The referee made up for a technical foul and Ko Lanbake was expelled from the field. The Guangdong fans at the scene have gone crazy, booing wildly all over the field to give away to the Ko by Lan Ko. The live big screen clearly replayed the operation of the martial arts world, and the audience also shouted loudly to vent their emotions. Too handsome, Xiaojiang. It's so tough, I just want to kill these kids from XJ team. XJ team, go home and sell cut cakes. What's going on? Are your XJ team here to play or fight? After watching the video, the referee, in order to show fairness, still gave a technical foul to the martial arts team. This technical foul was offset by XJ's technical foul, and XJ also committed a malicious foul. Guangdong team still has a chance to throw one free throw. To be honest, this foul was not given fairly. If it were normal, Coach Du Feng might have already been jumping and cursing on the sidelines. But today he not only did not do so, but also ran to the sidelines, applauding vigorously and encouraging Guangdong players. Well done, just fight like this. Fight harder and bravely confront them, they are all a group of weaklings. Du Feng's gaze towards the martial arts world was full of appreciation and satisfaction, as well as a hint of doubt. How did we get him? Zheng Fanri watched Coach Du Feng with a soft gaze towards the martial arts world, which made him feel very unfamiliar. Once upon a time, when I first joined the team, the coach also looked at me with such eyes, but later when did the coach start to look at him more and more contemptuously? Is it because I didn't love my body and fought against it? Forgot. My once busy thoughts were drifting, and the game continued on the field. Standing on the free throw line in the martial arts world, I held my breath and hit the free throw. 49.50, the game basically returned to the same starting line, and Guangdong held the ball. After being sent off, the XJ team replaced small foreign players Darius Adams, Abdul Sharam and Li Jian, and replaced Bryce. The XJ team's lineup consists of Darius Adams, 77, Cyril Lijiang, 69, Li Jian, 73, Abdul Sharam, 70, Zhou Qi, 77. The lineup of Guangdong team is still Zhou Peng, 66, Williams, 73, Ren Junfei, 62, Jianghu, 83, and Yi Jianlian, 79. The XJ team shifted their tactical focus from the inside to the outside. Adams is the scoring king of this team, averaging 30 points per game. Adams is the most crucial player for this team to reach the finals. But at the same time, in order to open up space for Adams, the XJ team's lineup also sacrificed some height and physical strength. Seeing this situation in the martial arts world, they already have a clear idea of how to play in the upcoming competition. Guangdong team's sideline ball, Williams receives the ball. Perhaps it was the performance of the martial arts world that made Williams recognize his strength. This time, without the need for martial arts to speak up, Williams directly gave the ball to the top martial arts world. The defender in front of him is Abdul Salamo. Compared to Blash, this guy has better flexibility, but his defensive experience in physical confrontation can be described as a mess. With a virtual shake of the ball in the martial arts world, the young Abdul Salamo was directly pointed and flew up. However, the martial arts world was not interested in making a foul, but once again held the ball with the left hand and scored into the inside line. After passing through Abdul Sharam in one step, XJ's inner line was basically smooth, and due to helplessness, Zhou Qi could only let go of Yi Jianlian to assist in defense. The martial arts world read about defense and did not choose to challenge Zhou Qi, but instead chose the smartest way of playing. Passing the ball. He threw the ball towards the basket, and the basketball flew over Zhou Qi's fingertips before falling near the basket. Yi Jianlian received the pass and threw it directly into the basket in the air. Another explosive dunk. Guangdong team finished 2 consecutive rounds with a dunk, and both were extremely explosive. The audience at the scene was almost crazy. Jianghu, it's Jianghu again. He once again stood up and demonstrated his exceptional breakthrough and passing abilities, helping Yi Jianlian complete an aerial relay with a clever pass. Jianghu made an appearance for 2 minutes and 12 seconds, scoring 8 points and providing 1 assist, leading the Guangdong team to a small climax of 10.0, helping the Guangdong team to overtake the score 51.50. Excellent young man. Where did this young man come from? Why did he rarely appear in previous competitions? Are you staying today to prepare for a secret weapon? Jianghu was directly recruited by the Guangdong team in an ordinary high school last year. It is said that the level of cultural courses in Jianghu is not bad. If he focuses on studying, he will have the opportunity to pass the 985 and 211 exams. However, he gave up his studies in order to become a professional basketball player and joined the Guangdong team's training camp before the start of the season. Once upon a time, we were constantly lamenting that this team couldn't provide enough support to League A, but now, the outstanding young people in the team have finally stood up and told League A, "Don't be afraid, there's me." Yi Jianlian rushed over with an excited expression and gave a high five to the martial arts world, like a novice young man. On the contrary, the martial arts world looked like a big shot, with a kind face and a seemingly loving smile on his face. "I've said before, I'm here to help you win the championship. I will definitely keep my word." The calm words spoken in the martial arts world made Yi Jianlian's heart beat wildly. If 2 minutes ago, Yi Jianlian sneered at this statement, then now he has already believed 30%. He believes that the outbreak of the martial arts world is likely to make Guangdong win this game, but it is too difficult to reverse the entire series and win the championship. The XJ team will not let Guangdong win consecutive games. If such a thing really happens, Guangdong has created a miracle, but XJ has been nailed to the pillar of shame. Anyway, enjoy the moment, win this game first, and avoid sweeping before we talk. Yi Jianlian did not delve into this issue, but continued to confidently invest in the defense. The XJ team continues to launch an attack, and this time they choose to start from the outside. Adams held the ball and launched a pick and roll, while Zhou Qi stepped forward to provide cover. Although Zhou Qi was thin and weak, his cover was quite solid. Not only did he block Yi Jianlian, but he also secretly grabbed his jersey, making it impossible for him to pursue Adams. Adams took advantage of this opportunity to go straight to the basket and shoot towards the basket. Yi Jianlian's jersey was grabbed and the referee saw that there was no whistle. Obviously, in the previous game, XJ team was sent off as a key player, and in the following games, XJ's defensive actions will naturally turn a blind eye. This is the balanced whistle, not only in the NBA, but also in the CBA, and the CBA is more blatant and exaggerated. Yi Jianlian's jersey was torn and he couldn't defend, so he was extremely anxious. As Adams approached the basket, Yi Jianlian wished he could take off his shoes and use them to smash the ball in Adam's hand. But soon, his worries were let go. Because on the road ahead of Adams, a familiar figure reappeared, like a mountain, firmly occupying the traffic fortress on the field. Adams' pick and roll, Zhou Qi blocked Alliance, Adams took the opportunity to shoot straight under the basket. When the martial arts world went to supplement defense, he rushed over immediately and bravely guarded the basket. The two of them had a physical confrontation in the air, and the martial arts world used his excellent arm span to interfere with Adams' shot as much as possible. The arrow was on the string and had to be fired. Adams could only raise the curvature of the ball to barely make a shot, but unfortunately, his shot was too strong. Adams didn't give up and rushed up to grab rebounds as soon as he landed. Abdul Sharam, who had been let out of the XJ team's perimeter, also rushed in, and the two of them were sandwiched in the game to compete for rebounds. There was no fear in the martial arts world. He jumped up high and in between the two, reached out with both hands to grab the rebound. He held the ball in his arms and never gave them a chance to grab it. The martial arts team successfully defended and then protected the ball's rights. The towering white jade pillar, the sea-purple golden beam, is that him? There is no quick attack in the martial arts world. Hand over the ball to the point guard and don't rush to take it slow. This young man is really steady, not at all dull, and calm. He doesn't seem like a rookie on the field for the first time, but rather like an old playoff thug who has been playing for many years. This ball needs to have a success rate, which is the key to whether Guangdong team can hold the lead. End of this chapter. Chapter 5. Winning the first victory and turning the tables starting from now on. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 5. Winning the first victory, turning the tables from now on, Guangdong team. Come on. South China Tiger. Charge. Amidst the cheers of the entire audience, the Guangdong team launched another attack. Williams broke through with the ball, Yi Jianlian cut into the basket, and their coordinated attack attracted the XJ team's three-man defense. Yi Jianlian received the ball from under the basket, and Zhou Qi pressed tightly against him. He struggled to get up with his jersey in his hand, so he had to score the ball to the periphery again. Scoring in and out, the ball has returned to the hands of the martial arts world once again. The martial arts world is not in a hurry to launch an attack, but constantly dribbling in place to consume time, while guarding against XJ teams dribbling and gesturing to let teammates run tactics. The tactical gestures in the martial arts world are chaotic, not only can't understand from the other side, but also from his teammates. When Yi Jianlian saw the martial arts gestures, he had a black question mark face. Does our team have this tactic? When did we teach it? Can't understand. If you don't understand, that's right. Tactical gestures and the like are all blindly used to confuse not only the opponent but also the team members. A gesture and gaze from the martial arts world caught the attention of Abdushalam, and then a fake pass caught him off guard. Without a doubt, Abdushalam immediately turned around to look, and the martial arts world took advantage of this half-second to break through the basket with the ball. After passing through the defense line of Abudu Salamu, the road ahead was smooth, and Zhou Qi under the basket was tightly blocked by Yi Jianlian, unable to come forward to assist in defense. Jianghu accelerates from the free throw line straight to the basket, takes 2 steps into the 3-second zone, and takes a strong jump with the ball to dunk. This ball, the martial arts world put in great effort to strike with momentum and blood. After taking off, he folded his hands behind his head and then slammed heavily into the basket. Air anti-sea folding buckle, this is a dunk contest action. Bang! There's no chance under the basket, Yi Jianlian passes it. Hold the ball in the martial arts world, signal stability, play a tactic. The martial arts world pretended to pass the ball and deceived Abdushalam, dribbling straight to the basket. On a flat surface, rise up in the martial arts world and engage in a critical attack, then engage in an anti-sea attack in the air. Full moon curved knife, curved bow archery, beautiful dunks, domineering dunks. Remember this name, Jianghu. This is his first playoff appearance in his career, but it shows us the power of the new generation. This button definitely shook the XJ team's heart. The sound of a powerful dunk in the martial arts world spread throughout the field through the loudspeaker, instantly igniting the stadium. Sleeping slot. Bull batch. Jianghu, from today on, you are my dad. Dad. The cheers and screams of the fans echoed through the stadium in an instant, and the temperature inside the stadium seemed to be rising rapidly, as if an artificial heat wave was invading the entire field. On the bench, the players of the Guangdong team were already going crazy. Chen Jianghua stood still over a meter tall, his eyes staring like copper bells. Zhu Fangyu hugged his head in both hands and said he couldn't believe his eyes. The young player Zhao Rui had already waved the towel in his hand into a propeller, almost about to take off in place. The cheerleading girls couldn't sit still anymore, and they all left the ground with sexy buttocks. They stood up and warmly shook the ribbons in their hands, celebrating the ball with sweet smiles. The Guangdong team's third consecutive attack ended with a dunk, and the atmosphere at the scene reached a climax. The XJ team reluctantly requested a pause. "You're okay, kid. I didn't even understand what bird tactics you're playing." Yi Jianlian also became excited, with a rare and honest smile on his face. He ran over and vigorously rubbed the hair of the martial arts world. The martial arts world learned from the appearance of a certain NBA superstar and shrugged calmly, saying, "This tactic is called East Strikes West, which is written in Sun Tzu's Art of War." Bull batch. 666 My teammates were very satisfied with the jokes in the martial arts world, and they all joined in and blew rainbow farts. The atmosphere in the team was good, as if they were leading 3.0 at this moment. Du Feng's face was also full of smiles, and his gaze towards the world was filled with the love and care of the elderly. The only exception at this moment is Xing Fanri, who is sitting at the end of the bench. Although he also has a mechanical smile on his face, the martial arts world can see that his smile is only a hint of sincerity, leaving only 3 parts cold and thin, 4 parts nervous, and 2 parts indifferent. After all, 5 minutes ago, the position of the martial arts world should have belonged to him, and the martial arts world should have sat at the end of the bench, watching him celebrate. No one cares about Xing Fanri, everyone is celebrating and discussing how to prevent XJ's comeback in the upcoming game, and what needs to be done better in order to win this game steadily. Seeing such a scene, the martial arts world knows that this game should not be a big problem in basketball games. Morale is really amazing. Under the leadership of the martial arts world, the morale of the Guangdong team was high. The XJ team voluntarily requested a pause, but after the pause ended, they were defended by Guangdong for a 24-second violation. Before the end of midfield, under the defense of Guangdong team, XJ did not score any sports games and only relied on Zhou Qi's free throw to get 2 points. On the other hand, the Guangdong team was full of momentum, with Wilms and Jianghu receiving passes from their teammates and shooting 3-pointers from the outside. Yi Jianlian also had the opportunity to dunk in an open space under the basket. After pausing and returning, Guangdong played another 8.2 match, ending the first half of the game. 61-52. In just 5 minutes, Jianghu contributed 13 points and 2 assists, leading the Guangdong team to a 20.2 climax and successfully pulling them back from the edge of the cliff. The brief 15-minute break in midfield quickly came to an end. Guangdong players and coaches had a small meeting in the locker room, and the result of the meeting consistently agreed to let Jianghu replace Xing Fanri's position in the second half of the game and start in the 4th position. In the second half of the game, Guangdong team continued the momentum of the first half and bravely challenged the basket. After all, Zhou Qi is still a small skinny person, so asking him to do more co-defense can put a lot of pressure on him to protect the frame for a long time. After all, the impact of both Williams and Jianghu is not small, and Zhou Qi's thin and weak physique is really difficult to withstand their rotational attacks. Coupled with Yi Jianlian's threat to the basket anytime and anywhere, XJ's pressure under the basket is enormous. In just 6 minutes after the third quarter of the game, Guangdong widened the lead from 8 points to 15 points. XJ head coach Li Qiuping sometimes switched to Blake and then to Adams, but he still struggled to solve the problem of protecting the frame. There was no other way, the difference in points was too big. In the end, Coach Li Qiuping chose to give up defending the inside line and won the twin towers of Zhou Qi and Blaze, choosing to let Adams launch the attack. After all, Adams is a top-scoring player in the CBA, and his tactical effect on the field is very obvious. In just 2 minutes, he led the XJ team to catch up to 9 points. In the remaining 4 minutes of the third quarter, Jianghu reached out again for the ball. In the third quarter of the game, there were not many shots in the martial arts world. He only made 4 shots, made 3 hits, and scored 7 points. At this point, Williams gave him the ball without any hesitation. After handing the ball to Jianghu on the left, Williams immediately went to the right 3-point line and cleared the defender on this side of the Jianghu. Yi Jianlian is constantly entangled with Zhou Qi, ready to grab frontcourt rebounds at any time. It is obvious that teammates have no resistance to letting the martial arts world launch an attack, and even under the leadership of the team's 2 big shots, the martial arts singles have become a highly prioritized tactic. The opportunity for such performance will naturally not be missed in the martial arts world. After receiving a pass from Wims in the martial arts world, he grabbed the ball with one hand and placed it behind him, then observed the defensive position of Abdul Salamo in front of him. He lowered his body's center of gravity in the martial arts world, skillfully controlling the ball with his left hand, as if he was born left-handed. The left-handed magician has given a great bonus to the martial arts world, which has greatly enhanced his ability to control and combine luck. As a result, his attack threat is almost exponentially increasing. Abdul Sharamu nervously stared at the martial arts world, opening his left hand to prevent it from suddenly accelerating from the left side. Then he occasionally glanced at the shoulders of the martial arts world, trying to determine the direction of his breakthrough. Jianghu smiled slightly, and his left shoulder suddenly shook. Taking advantage of Abdushalam's daze, he changed hands and dribbled the ball. His right shoulder tilted forward significantly, as if he was about to kill from the right side. When Abdushalam began to move to the right, the swift dribbling from the bottom of the river made the ball return to the left, like a roaring motorcycle entering the penalty area. But Abdul Salamo is also one of the few players in China who can maintain good health on the international stage. Although he was overtaken halfway, he immediately reacted and pressed his body against the world, while constantly moving his feet. If it were in the previous martial arts world, Abu Dharma's defense may have been at a loss, but the martial arts world modeled after Odom is not something that Abu Dharma, a top domestic striker, can match. The two of them fought against each other and walked towards the basket. The difference was that the martial arts world was the active side, while Abdushalam was the passive side. Being proactive means having more choices, and in the rapidly changing field of competition, the advantage is too great. Near the penalty area, the martial arts team took the initiative to break and forcefully stopped their accelerating body. Abdul Salamo was caught off guard and slid back a step. For an ordinary person, there is nothing they can do, but for a skilled player, it is enough to complete an excellent attack. Shake open the martial arts world of Abdul Salamo and hold the ball with both hands, rushing towards the basket in a dry land style. Abdushalam reacted and immediately jumped up to seal it. But it was of no use. At this moment, the hands holding the ball in the martial arts world had already swung high, forming a semicircle in the air and forcefully smashing it towards the basket. The martial arts team forcefully scored the ball through Abdul Salamo, causing a foul. After landing, the martial arts world roared angrily at Abdushalam, "You can't stop me. None of you can stop me." Abdushalam shook his head and didn't speak, but the disappointment in his eyes couldn't deceive anyone. Obviously, he didn't have much confidence in defending the martial arts world. Zhou Qi, on the other hand, had a disdainful expression and didn't care about the ridicule in the martial arts world. In Zhou Qi's eyes, he will enter the NBA after this season. He is going to compete with the strongest players in the world. What are these people in China? No matter how strong they are just ordinary blue-collar workers in the NBA. The martial arts world didn't pay much attention to Zhou Qi's disdain. This guy only has 77 ability points and will only deteriorate in the future. He won't be able to become his competitor in the future. In the next few minutes, the martial arts world took over the ball completely. He was like a powerful bomber, bombing all the opponent's defenses. Li Qiuping made several substitutions to defend the martial arts world, and the effect was even better than nothing. Abdul Sharamu's physical condition was barely able to keep up with the martial arts world, but his defensive experience was too weak, and Li Jian's lateral movement speed was too slow. With just one change in direction, the martial arts world could easily get rid of him. Yu Changdong and Sun Chonglin had complete inside line physique and could not defend the martial arts world at all. In just 4 minutes, all 6 attacks in the martial arts world were scored, and the inner line blossomed and scored another 14 points, once again widening the difference between the two teams to 17 points. The destructive power of the martial arts world is too great, with an ability value of up to 83 points. In this shallow and mediocre CBA, it is completely invincible. The template Odom produces effects that are even better than Kobe, Jordan, and Durant. In the final game, Coach Li Qiuping of XJ team finally couldn't bear it anymore and used a double team. However, this situation is exactly what Coach Du Feng likes to see. Zhou Qi's consecutive participation in the double team gave Yi Jianlian an excellent opportunity, and Yi Jianlian did not disappoint these easy scoring goals. His consecutive hits widened the difference to over 20 points. In the fourth quarter, at 5 minutes and 21 seconds, with a three-pointer from Williams outside, the score was pulled back to 26 points. XJ requested a pause, replaced all starting lineups, and announced the withdrawal of Naruto. The whistle for the end of the game sounded, and Guangdong team defeated XJ team 115.93 at home, regaining one city from a 0.3 deficit, avoiding being swept and retaining the hope of winning the championship. Undoubtedly, today's hero belongs to the martial arts world where the strange soldiers appear at the end of the second quarter, and his sudden appearance is causing a strong butterfly effect. End of this chapter. Chapter 6. After the competition, the rivers and lakes that became famous in World War I. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 6. After the competition, the rivers and lakes that became famous in World War I winning. The competition is over. The Guangdong team ultimately won the game at home, and everyone was extremely excited, including Yi Jianlian and Williams. Both of them rushed towards the martial arts world with a bottle of mineral water in their hands, roaring and splashing their mineral water onto the head of the martial arts world. The martial arts world did not dodge and smiled as they accepted their water shower celebration. In the past 3 finals, this Guangdong team has played extremely hard, with some consistently falling behind and losing the entire game, some leading by more than 10 points but losing in a comeback, and some not making it to the finish line and losing. Anyway, no matter how you play, you just can't win. Now that we have finally won the game, why not celebrate recklessly? Coach Du Feng also showed a pleased smile on his face and kept applauding. The feeling of winning the game is too good. If swept, Du Feng may feel uncomfortable all summer because he has been in Guangdong since his debut as a player. For others, this team may just be an ordinary basketball club or a job to make a living, but for him, it is different. He has long regarded this team as his home, and his feelings for this team are unmatched. Moreover, Du Feng has been with the team for nearly 20 years and has never been swept in the NBA Finals. If he were swept while he was the head coach, it would be even more painful for him than killing him. The commentator from Tencent Sports is also very excited at the moment. Let's congratulate the Guangdong team for winning this precious victory and bringing the big score to 1.3. The victory of this game is not just as simple for them as winning the next game, but they may have found a new route. If before the emergence of the martial arts world, they could only rely on Williams and Yi Jianlian, and other points could not pose a threat to XJ, then now they may have obtained another key to unlock XJ's lock. The emergence of young players in the martial arts world indicates that the balance of the finals may start to tilt towards Guangdong at this moment. Although the probability of a 0.3 deficit and a final comeback can be said to be infinitely close to zero, at this moment, Guangdong team at least retains hope. We can see his unyielding spirit from the face of the martial arts world. In the world of young people, there is nothing impossible. They believe in miracles, and we look forward to them. We look forward to the surprises that the emerging martial arts world will bring us in the upcoming games. In the next game, XJ will use what kind of defensive style to deal with martial arts, or Guangdong team? How will they welcome XJ's counterattack? 2 days later, XJ's main field, let's wait and see. After a simple celebration, Jiang and Yi Jianlian were pulled out of the locker room by Du Feng to attend the post-match press conference together. This top-level basketball league in China, although not as popular as the NBA in China, has also received continuous attention from many fans who love the game, so the press conference is not too cold. Yi Jianlian sits in the center position, Jiang sits on the left, and Coach Du Feng sits on the right. This position will not be easily changed. Even if the martial arts team performs exceptionally well, they cannot sit in the middle position. That position belongs to Yi Jianlian because he is the leader and soul of this team. The martial arts world has no objection to this seating order, and he himself doesn't care much about these things. Moreover, Yi Jianlian's position has been earned by him through his hard work in each game, which he deserves. For the martial arts world, his goal is to participate in the NBA draft, and the CBA is just an exaggeration for him. If possible, he wouldn't even bother to attend the press conference. There are quite a few media reporters here today, with at least 30.40 at first glance. Among them, Jianghu can recognize several sports media with significant influence in China at a glance, such as Tencent Sports and Sina Sports, as well as Hupu Sports. As a senior journalist at Tencent Sports, Kong Ming has a very keen sense of news. Before the game ended, he had already conceived his own question. Hello, Coach Du Feng, I am Kong Ming, a journalist from Tencent Sports. Just as everyone sat down and signaled to start the interview, Kong Ming took the lead in asking questions. I know you, I have been interviewed by you before. As the largest sports media company in China, Tencent has a huge influence in the industry. Journalists from their sports department, team coaches, and players often come into contact, and most of them have met face to face. Hello, Coach Du Feng. We have seen that as a player in the fourth position, Jianghu always carries the ball and launches attacks. Is this allowed in your tactical system? Or is it that he is ignoring your tactical arrangements on his own? Kong Ming's question was very sharp, which made Du Feng's smile disappear in a blink of an eye. Du Feng's eyes twitched, not expecting this turtle son's question to be so sharp. But as an old fogey, he had many years of experience dealing with reporters. Even if the other side's questions were sharp, they did not cause his aversion. Instead, he calmly replied. Frankly, I did not arrange any tactics for Xiaojiang. In our team's tactical choices, frequent ball-holding attacks in position 4 are usually not allowed. Kong Ming's eyes lit up. Coach Du Feng won't admit it to himself now. In fact, this is a dilemma. If Du Feng admits that he took the initiative to hold the ball and attack after playing in the martial arts world, then this victory has little to do with Du Feng. Kong Ming can completely right him as an incompetent head coach. If the martial arts world holds the ball and attacks are tactical arrangements, why not take them out earlier, but take them out after being 0.3 behind? Is this joking about the fate of the team? No matter how you answer, Kong Ming has a way to create a controversial piece of news. Controversy means traffic means money, but soon, he couldn't laugh anymore because Coach Du Feng's answer was quite seamless. But I always believe that in any team, geniuses are allowed to play freely. Without a doubt, Xiaojiang is a genius, and his path can be understood by himself. I don't need to arrange it for him. The script has already been written, and victory is the best arrangement. For this kind of genius, we should encourage him to freely unleash his talents, rather than limiting him. That's not something an excellent head coach should do. Xiaojiang's strength is evident to all, not only representing the future of Guangdong men's basketball, but also possibly representing the future of our country's basketball. Wow! Applause from the audience. I not only recognize the strength of this young man in the martial arts world, but also admire Du Feng's impeccability. Undoubtedly, Du Feng's answer is impeccable. After all, what the winner says is right. Moreover, Coach Du Feng's speech has risen to the level of the future of national basketball, and even Tencent Sports, the largest in the industry, cannot fabricate or smear it if there is a slight carelessness in doing such a thing and it causes a nationwide boycott. It is not worth the loss. It's on fire. The martial arts world is so popular. After the competition, major sports media immediately reported on the explosive performance of Jianghu in the competition, and the headlines of major websites were all paying attention to the emerging dark horse of Jianghu. Born out of nowhere, the magical boy suddenly appears and turns the tide. His name is Jianghu. Turning the tide of the storm to its downfall, supporting the general of the Great Xia, and achieving fame at the age of 18. Magical substitution. Coach Du Feng's decision to change the fate of the team goal-scoring machine, Magical Boy's two powerful attack waves helped Guangdong achieve its first victory, from the end of the bench to slashing 34 points to save the team. This is not a novel but a reality. His career playoff debut slashed 30+, the sky is his limit, LeBron Jiang. Tonight he is the most dazzling new star in the CBA. All kinds of news were flying everywhere, and all kinds of information in the martial arts world were dug out overnight. On the Hupu forum, the topic of this competition is being discussed everywhere, and the popularity of the CBA section has even surpassed the damp topics and pedestrian streets, becoming the traffic leader in the area. In the local area of Dongguan, the martial arts world has become famous overnight, becoming a superhero in the hearts of the people of Dongguan. In Dongguan, whether you love basketball or not, you all know Guangdong South China Tiger Basketball Club. For those who love basketball, Guangdong South China Tiger represents the pride of Dongguan fans. The streets and alleys of Dongguan are filled with discussions about today's game, from parks and squares to snack vendors. People are all amazed by the surprises brought by the martial arts world to them. The title of Guangdong Magical Boy has also spread rapidly since the press conference, becoming synonymous with the martial arts world. Similarly, in the last game, Jianghu also broke a record, which was the youngest player to cut a substitute of 30+ in the NBA Finals. On the day of the game, Jianghu's age was only 18 years and 250 days, which is normally still in high school. Of course, the value of this record is not very high. After all, it's just the CBA league. If this achievement was achieved in the NBA, the martial arts world would probably become the next Jiang crazy. The initiator of all this is currently sitting on the sofa in his own home, counting the gains of this game. In the just concluded game, Jianghu won their first playoff game and received 2 randomly gifted gift packages from the system. These 2 gift packages are completely unexpected joy, because the system did not assign tasks, but gave rewards after the game ended. It has to be said that this conscience system is really popular in the martial arts world. After the game, he wanted to open it, but it was both a post-game interview and a press conference. After the game, there was another celebration in the locker room, and there was really no time to open it. Now that everything has been dealt with and we have returned home, the martial arts world finally has time to take stock of their gains. End of this chapter. Chapter 7. Luxury Gift Package for the System. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 7 Luxury Gift Package for the System. After returning to the room, the martial arts world did not immediately open the gift package gifted by the system, but chose to first check their own attributes. Jianghu sat on the sofa, thinking of opening the system in his mind. Quickly, a system interface appeared before the eyes of the martial arts world. As soon as I opened the system, the martial arts world was filled with a fierce sweat. Host: Jianghu. Nationality: China. Cultural level: high school. What system is this mud horse? Mark my cultural level. I know I came to play basketball before graduating from high school, but you don't have to remind me so blankly, do you? I'm so embarrassed about it. Hey, system, can this cultural level column be hidden? Or can I change it to a graduate student? Sorry, this system operates independently and legally, and does not have any information modification function. The request from the martial arts community was rejected by the system, so we had to abandon this plan and look at other system information. Birthday: September 13, 1998. Height 206 centimeters, arm span 221 centimeters, weight 98 kilograms. I already know the static talent of the martial arts world very well. The reason why I was able to enter Guangdong South China Tiger, a well-known basketball club in China, from an ordinary high school team, is definitely inseparable from his outstanding static talent. It should be noted that in the world of yellow race people, the proportion of height to arm span is generally around 1:2.1. Most CBA players have an arm span that is only about 5.6 centimeters longer than their height. Players like Jianghu who have an arm span that is 15 centimeters longer than their height are definitely rare in China. Don't you see that Leonard, the star of the Clippers, has an arm span that is only 20 centimeters taller than his height? As a yellow race person, the martial arts world is already very satisfied with such a height and poor arm span. And the martial arts world can feel that their neck is not too long and the shoulders are very broad. Although overall, it may not look as handsome as those 9-headed handsome guys, as a basketball player, this physical condition is very suitable. A short neck means a higher effective height and stronger attacking power on the field. Shoulder width means a larger skeleton, making it easier to gain weight. After gaining weight, the ability to resist will become more outstanding. Although the martial arts world still looks thin and weak at present, they believe that if they have the opportunity to enter the NBA in the future, they will definitely train into a muscular man. When I clicked on my attribute value interface, the smile on my Jianghu face was even more rippling. Ending. Breaking through layup 75, breaking dunk 76, and finishing 81 under the basket. Shooting: 87 for close range, 83 for mid-range, and 67 for three-pointers. Control: passing accuracy 83, dribbling 82. Defense: 81 lateral speed, 72 steals, 87 blocks, and 72 rebounds. Physical fitness: speed 86, strength 72, bounce 85, physical fitness 73. Comprehensive evaluation: 83, strong team starting level. From the perspective of attributes, there are quite a few advantages in the martial arts world. Speed and jumping are two very good attributes. It should be noted that in the world of basketball, these two are the foundation of one's foundation. With excellent running and jumping abilities, one can have more opportunities than others. Secondly, there are close range and mid-range shots. Although these two statistics may not be comparable to top players like Kobe Bryant and Durant, they are definitely higher than the average level in the entire NBA league. Such shooting abilities are even more outstanding in the CBA. A three-point goal of 67 is not considered high, but it is definitely not without threat. At least if someone dares to let go of the 3 points in the martial arts world, the martial arts world will definitely make him pay the price of being underestimated. The accuracy of passing and dribbling ability are basically around 80, and they are definitely at the top level in the CBA. It is conservatively estimated that in the NBA Finals, only Williams and Adams can surpass their own estimates in one of these two aspects, and their dribbling ability should be better than their own. The likelihood of both surpassing oneself is unlikely. After all, the template of the martial arts world is left-handed magician Odom. If Williams and Adams surpass the martial arts world in both, then they should not appear in the CBA. At least, being a starting guard for a weak team in the NBA should be more than enough. The weaker parts of attributes are strength and physical fitness, which are only 72 and 73, respectively. However, this is also reasonable. After all, age is here, and physical development is not yet mature, so it is understandable that physical fitness is slightly lacking. Although these two are weak cycles, they are not a big problem in dealing with CBA. And these two attributes are also the easiest to compensate for through training in the later stage, so there's nothing to worry about. After reading the attributes, the martial arts community became more clear about their own strength, which is that their running and jumping abilities belong to the top of the entire CBA league, and they have good dribbling control ability. This makes his breakthrough threat great, and he can effectively attack the basket. At the same time, his excellent shooting ability also allows him to score continuously outside the penalty area, avoiding a scoring drought due to not being able to enter the basket. At the same time, his passing ability also makes him not afraid of double teaming, and he has super strong strategic destructive power in the CBA. After seeing the attributes clearly, the Jianghu community's expectations for gift packages have increased. After all, the system only gave them such a big gift when they appeared in the competition. What rewards will they receive if they win the competition? With a hopeful mood, Jianghu clicked on their backpack. Although eager to open the gift package, the martial arts world eventually suppressed their boiling passion and restrained their impulse. He first ran to the bathroom for 15 minutes to take a fragrant bath, then changed into a blue striped collar suit that his sister-in-law bought him last year's Chinese New Year. Finally, he ran to the statue of the god of wealth at the door and put incense on it. After finishing all of this, he returned to the sofa to prepare to open the gift package. Bathing, burning incense, and changing clothes are the etiquette of ancient people's worship. As the inheritor of Chinese culture for 5,000 years, the martial arts world cannot forget or dare not forget it. God of wealth blesses, Buddha blesses, let me create another template. The requirements are not high, don't give it to Jordan, just give it to Kobe, I don't mind. While muttering incessantly, the martial arts world reached out and opened the first gift package. A white light flashed past, and several lines of text appeared before the eyes of the martial arts world. Ding, congratulations on successfully opening the legendary player newcomer's chest and obtaining a highlight card. Buddha's Light. Klay Thompson, the highlight card is unique and cannot be obtained except for the newcomer's chest, valid for 21 days. Pretty as he looked at the highlight card, the martial arts world clenched its fist in excitement. It's actually Klay Thompson's highlight moment. This is a man who can perform more magically in larger scenes. This is a man who can get the team owner to kneel for him in the Western Conference Finals. This is the man who shot the Durant fragment. This is a man who scored 37 points in a single quarter and scored 60 points in 3 quarters. To be fair, although Curry dares to claim second place in the third division and no one claims first, the martial arts world feels that at certain moments, Thompson's performance is definitely not inferior to Curry's, and his scoring explosive power is even more terrifying than Curry's. Moreover, in the position of the second person in three-point shooting history, Ray Allen is definitely unstable, and his biggest challenger is Klay Thompson. Obtaining such a high-gloss card can be said to be a victory in a game that has been steadily received. The martial arts world originally intended to keep this high-gloss card for use in key games after entering the NBA, but he ultimately decided to use it in this series. Because if he doesn't use it, it will expire. It's a pity that there is a time limit and uniqueness, which means we can only get this one and there won't be any more in the future. If there were no time limit, it would be great. It would be great to become famous in one game when I enter the NBA in the future. But this card has uniqueness, which means there is only one chance, so it must be used on the blade, at the most critical moment. According to optimistic estimates in the martial arts world, his performance in the previous game has already entered the vision of NBA scouts. With his age and the added bonus in the Chinese market, it is estimated that many NBA scouts will come to the scene to watch the next game. If you lead your team to win the next game, your attention will continue to increase. Wait until the 6th and 7th games to use this time card again, and then it will be the moment when you truly become famous. Unfortunately, things are good, but not perfect enough. Look at the next gift package. Can you offer something more awesome? Rub your hands, and the Jianghu continues to open the next gift package. Ding, you have obtained a basic attribute experience card of 10, which can increase attribute experience points. Experience card. What kind of thing? Primary attribute experience card. Can increase your attribute experience value by 1000 points per experience card. The primary experience card can strengthen individual attributes up to 90 points. After studying for a while, the martial arts community finally understood the function of experience cards, which are actually used to add points. They increase experience by 1000 points at a time. The martial arts community looked at the experience bar behind the attributes and found that for each upgrade, exactly 1000 points of experience are needed. So, can I add 10 points? What's good to add? After almost hesitating for 0.1 seconds, the martial arts world used the experience card in their hand to the plus sign behind the speed. The experience card has been successfully used, and your speed has been increased to 86.90. Sometimes, men can't be fast, but sometimes, men have to be fast in the world of martial arts. Speed is the most difficult to improve and also the most profitable attribute. The speed attribute has become stronger, and it is absolutely guaranteed to make a profit without losing. After the Jianghu increases the speed to 90 points, the plus sign after the speed becomes a lock, which means that the Jianghu will not use the system to increase the speed in a short period of time. There are still 6 o'clock left. Which one is better to add? Forget it, just add you. The remaining 6 points were all added to ball control by the martial arts world, which increased his ball control ability from 82 to 88. The speed is fast enough, and the ability to control the ball needs to keep up. Only with the ability of the owner to unite the ball can one be called a true big killer in the CBA. After adding 2 skill points, the comprehensive evaluation of the martial arts world has also increased from 83 to 85, and the content in parentheses of the name has also changed from starting level of strong teams to leading level of weak teams. With a height of 206 centimeters and a wingspan of 221 centimeters, coupled with a speed of 90 and ball control ability of 88, as well as a highlight card from Klay Thompson, the martial arts world finally has enough confidence to lead the Guangdong team to a historic 0.3 comeback in the NBA Finals. End of this chapter. Chapter 8. Starting the Battle. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 8 Starting the Battle. The competition day is coming soon. This time the Guangdong team is playing away. They came to XJ's WLMQ. The home court of XJ Guanghui men's basketball team is at WLMQ Hongshan Sports Center. The Hongshan Sports Center is one of the iconic buildings in XJ WLMQ City, built with an investment of 86 million yuan in 2002. The exterior design of the top looks like a blooming snow lotus in the sky, which looks quite unique to XJ's local characteristics. When the Guangdong team players took the bus to the outside of the Hongshan Sports Center, they were greeted by boos and curses from all over the field. Even some fans were excited and wanted to climb onto the Guangdong team's bus bare-handed, but were only discovered by security personnel in time to fail. Compared to the home stadium of Guangdong team, Dongguan Sports Center is much smaller in size. Dongguan Sports Center can accommodate up to 12,000 spectators, while Hongshan Sports Center can only accommodate up to 4,000 people. But the enthusiasm of XJ fans is not limited by the size of the stadium. Even if they cannot enter the stadium to watch, they are willing to come to the vicinity of the home stadium, ambush the inevitable path of the away team bus in advance, and try to give away team players some psychological pressure by knocking on the glass and tapping on the car door. At night, during the game, tens of thousands of people will gather on the square outside the gymnasium to watch the game on a large screen, cheering for the home team. Many times, the cheers coming from outside the Hongshan Arena are much louder than inside. The enthusiasm of XJ fans did not deter the Guangdong team's players, and the crowd sitting in the car remained very calm. As a domestic powerhouse, they have seen such scenes many times. Except for Zheng Fanri, who always looked around restlessly, most of the others were busy with their own affairs, listening to music, playing games, and playing games. Jianghu was sitting in the second row of the car by the window, holding his chin with his right hand and staring blankly at the distance outside the glass. On the side of Jianghu is Yi Jianlian. When Yi Jianlian, who was originally listening to music, saw the expression on Jianghu's face and thought he was feeling nervous because of the upcoming game. Who could have thought that this young man was preparing for the NBA and planning his own English learning problem? Yi Jianlian took off his earphones and placed his hands on the shoulders of the martial arts world. While kneading the shoulders of the martial arts world, he smiled and whispered, "Don't be too stressed, Xiaojiang. No matter what the final result of the competition is, we just need to do our best. Even if we lose, we can make a comeback next season." "Brother Lian, what are you talking about?" Jiang, who heard Yi Jianlian speak, looked back at the team leader next to him with a hint of surprise. "We have to win, and we must win. I've said it before, I'm here to help you win the championship. After winning the championship, I will participate in the draft, so these are my last few CBA matches. No next season, no comeback, only win, only keep moving forward." Yi Jianlian was momentarily stunned, then shook his head and smiled. He seemed to see his former self from the face of the martial arts world. He was young, energetic, and full of energy, wishing to trample the whole world under his feet. "You're right, we have to win. In order for you to be selected by the NBA, we also have to win." Coach Du Feng also noticed the situation here. He stood up directly, coughed lightly twice, and immediately attracted everyone's attention. "Ladies and gentlemen, this is our third time coming to this stadium in this year's finals. We lost the first two matches. But this time, I hope we can win. I know each of you really wants to win. At this stage of the season, everyone wants to win an extra championship. Whether it's honor or economy, it's beneficial for everyone. If we win this game, the pressure will be relieved. The next game we return to home, we will definitely be able to win. If we come back here after grabbing 7, it will not be us who should be nervous, but the group of people selling cut cakes on the opposite side." Coach Du Feng's black label of XJ team as "selling cut cakes" caused a burst of laughter from everyone, and the atmosphere in the carriage suddenly relaxed a lot. "In order for everyone to fight wholeheartedly, after the last game, I submitted a report to the general manager and applied for a bonus for you. Do you want it? Think." Originally, everyone was a bit listless and absent-minded, but upon hearing this, everyone finally reacted and responded loudly to Coach Du Feng. They are all adults, with people from all walks of life and even coming out to play for money. Who doesn't love money? "How much, coach?" "Sleeping in a slot is interesting enough, I gave you the money." The head coach looked serious and extended 5 fingers towards the crowd. 5,000 yuan. Alright, mosquito legs are also meat. The enthusiasm of the crowd was not high, but they still gave a perfunctory round of applause to express gratitude for the kindness of the leader. "What 5,000, what 5,000? When did our team deduct like this? 50,000, win this game, whether starting or coming off the bench, reward 50,000 per person." Seeing the average level of excitement among the crowd, Du Feng instructed everyone loudly to clarify. Upon hearing Du Feng's definite answer of 50,000, everyone's eyes began to light up. After all, in this era, money is really close to omnipotent. 99% of things can be solved with money, and if they can't be solved, it's definitely not enough money. Although Guangdong is the most well-known basketball team in the country, the salaries of its players cannot be compared to those of top foreign leagues. Except for Williams and Jianlian, whose annual salaries can reach tens of millions, the salaries of the remaining players in the team are not particularly high. A normal starting player's salary is around 2 million yuan per season, and after tax, they only receive around 1.4 million yuan. Not to mention players on the bench, it is normal for them to receive less than 1 million yuan after tax. As a young player who has just entered the industry, the salary in the martial arts world is only 500,000 yuan per year. After deducting taxes, they only receive 350,000 yuan. Therefore, 50,000 yuan is definitely not a small amount for everyone, let alone this 50,000 yuan belongs to the club's bonus. In name, it does not need to pay personal income tax. Don't worry, I haven't finished my sentence yet. Not only is there a bonus for this game. If we win this game, our chance will come. The general manager told me that if we can create a miracle to reverse and win the championship in the end, in addition to the championship bonus, he will also personally apply for additional bonuses from the boss. The starting players will each receive 380,000 yuan, and the substitute players will each receive 250,000 yuan. If the boss doesn't agree, he is willing to pay out of his own pocket. Oh. Scream crazily. The Guangdong team did not conceal their emotions and love for the stinky thing. This news is an unexpected joy for everyone, even the team leader Yi Jianlian's face is filled with an uncontrollable smile. Great. The general manager is wise. We must reverse and kill those who sell cut cakes. As the leader of the team, Yi Jianlian will definitely not miss this good opportunity to boost morale. Brothers, since the leadership is so awesome, I can't hold you back. Let's win this game, and personally, I would like to give everyone another gift. The latest version of the highest configuration Apple phone. Do you have confidence, brothers? Yes. The Guangdong team members were already extremely excited under the temptation of one after another, almost transforming into howling wild wolves, shouting wildly. Okay. I am very satisfied with your mental state, and I believe you can do it. Du Feng, the guide, stood up and made a concluding speech. He hopes everyone can maintain their current state and not be too excited, so that when it comes to the game, their power will become even stronger. Alright, everyone, please return to your seats. I'll announce something. There have been some adjustments to our starting lineup for this game, Coach Du Feng said as everyone quickly quieted down and focused on him. Even the martial arts world looked over carefully, because he was not sure if his performance in the last game had impressed the coach. If Coach Du Feng can really see his shining points, he should start this game. The point that others are concerned about is related to the issue that the coach has just emphasized. After all, if we ultimately create a historic comeback and win the championship, there is still a big difference between the extra bonuses given by the management, starting players, and substitute players. Coach Du Feng took out a blank piece of paper from his pants pocket and began announcing the starting lineup. Center, Yi Jianlian. There is no suspense about this position. As long as Yi Jianlian is alive and still active, even if he retires at the age of 80 like Wiggins, he will still be the starting lineup of Guangdong team. After all, Guangdong team has achieved 8 championships today and the glorious results of the top domestic clubs. Yi Jianlian is definitely a great presence in it. Point guard Zhao Rui, shooting guard Zhou Peng, small forward Williams. Du Feng continued to lower his head and read out his starting lineup. There is no doubt about the positions of Zhou Peng and Williams. One is the captain of the team, and the other is the strongest foreign player in the team. Their positions are equally unshakable. As for the team's potential newcomer Zhao Rui's return to the starting lineup, it is a great joy for him personally, as he has always been a starter in the regular season. But in the XJ series of matches, in order to match the overall height of XJ, Coach Du Feng's choice was to use Williams as the starting second position, let Ren Junfei play the third position, and even give the point guard to Zhou Peng, actually playing the point forward for Williams. Zhao Rui went to the bench. Upon hearing this, everyone had already guessed something. In the first few games, Ren Junfei had always started, but in this game, he was removed from the starting lineup, indicating that there must be new changes in the starting lineup. It is definitely not as simple as replacing Zhao Rui. Moreover, Coach Du Feng only announced the ownership of the fourth position at the end, indicating that the adjustment of the fourth position is definitely the greatest. In an instant, everyone's gaze vaguely turned towards the martial arts world, among which Ren Junfei and Zheng Fanri's gaze at the martial arts world was filled with a hint of hostility. Power forward, Jianghu. After Du Feng finished speaking, he looked at the players under his hands, hoping to see some surprised or shocked expressions on their faces. But unfortunately, he was disappointed. Being able to play as a professional basketball player doesn't make anyone particularly foolish. In fact, after the last game, everyone already had this kind of speculation. So there was no surprise among the Guangdong team members about the starting lineup in the martial arts world. In the last game, martial arts had already given themselves a qualified pitching certificate, and it was only natural for the starting lineup to do so. Even the most unhappy Ren Junfei and Zheng Fanri suppressed their emotions because they knew that their starting lineup did not provide the tactical effect the coach wanted, and it was only natural for them to be replaced. Is there any problem? Du Feng asked after looking around. No. Everyone spoke in unison, without any objections. Du Feng nodded in satisfaction and continued, "Great, since the starting lineup has been confirmed, your task in the upcoming game, Jianghu, is very difficult. I need you to do two things. Firstly, try to hit the inside line as much as possible and cause more fouls from Zhou Qi. Secondly, do a good job of holding the second ball, allocate the ball right, and assist Wims in launching attacks from the outside. Is there a problem?" "No problem, we guarantee to complete the task." Jianghu clenched their fists and looked at Du Feng with firm eyes. "Watch it, I will use my actions to tell everyone what I can do on the basketball court in this game." End of this chapter. Chapter 9. Yang Yi's pre-match speech, start of the competition. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 9. Yang Yi's pre-match speech, start of the competition. The bus finally stopped inside the Hongshan Sports Center, in the underground passage's guest team drop-off area. The Guangdong team player carried a big bag and went to the locker room. Jiang only had a handbag in his hand, which contained his sneakers and jersey. Most teams in the CBA do not have a rule for rookies to give bags to veteran players, especially in Guangdong. Everyone holds their own things, even Yi Jianlian does the same. I quite like this cultural world. He doesn't want to be someone else's bag handler, even Yi Jianlian can't do it, unless the person asking him to carry the bag is Michael Jordan. It's okay to learn some skills from him later on after entering the arena. The first thing that the martial arts world feels is why professional leagues are divided into home and away games. The difference is really huge. In the Guangdong team, the storage cabinets in the changing room are twice as large as those in the XJ away game. Everyone has an independent bathroom area and sits on shiny, soft, and comfortable leather sofas. In the away stadium, there was only a 30 centimeters wide iron locker and a plastic stool that didn't exceed 20 yuan, and the number of stools was not enough. A total of 12 people came to the team roster, with only 10 stools. In the end, the team leader went to the stadium to discuss for a while before borrowing two. The air conditioning in the away team's changing room at Hongshan Stadium is also broken, and as soon as people enter, it becomes suffocating. Apart from the entrance, there is only a small window 50 centimeters wide left for ventilation in the entire changing room. If it weren't for knowing that I was here to play, the martial arts world would have thought I had already entered the game. However, such an environment did not dampen the morale of the Guangdong team members. On the contrary, everyone was extremely excited and swore to defeat them away from home. Everyone quickly changed their clothes and didn't want to stay in this shabby changing room for a second. They rushed to the court to warm up. While the XJ and Guangdong teams are warming up, the commentator in another place are commenting on the upcoming game. Shenzhen, Tencent Sports Studio. Welcome all kinds of audience friends to watch Tencent Sports at 8 p.m. on time. Tencent is broadcasting the 2016-17 CBA Finals for you. I am the host Duan Ran, and sitting next to me is the famous basketball commentator Yang Yi. Hello, Teacher Yang Yi. The two hosts responsible for commenting on this game are Yang Yi and Duan Ran. Those familiar with basketball know that, but I won't go into too much detail. Hello Teacher Duan, hello audience friends, long time no see. Yang Yi continued to greet everyone with a signature fake smile. Duan Ran said, Teacher Yang Yi, do you have any thoughts on this game that you want to share with us? Which team do you prefer in this game? Guangdong, who won the game on the field, or XJ, who returned to their home ground? Yang Yi replied without hesitation, to be honest, I have confidence in the XJ team. I think in the last game, they just play one game in order to win the championship at home. Duan Ran's face showed curiosity and he asked, are you optimistic about XJ? Can you give me your reason? Yang Yi calmly said, the reason is very simple. XJ has the strongest foreign player in China. Adams, the best local player in China. Zhou Qi, the second best internal foreign player in China. Blake, and the first best internal player is Haddadi. With such strength, such lineup, and the excellent deployment of head coach Li Qiuping, I think they won't run away. The champion is them, and it's this game. They will send Guangdong away at home. No team deserves the championship more than them this season. Although Duan Ran also felt that the XJ team was stronger, he did not fully agree with this view and continued to ask, does Teacher Yang Yi think Guangdong has no chance? Zhou Qi is the best player in China, and what about Yi Jianlian? Guangdong foreign player Williams' performance is not bad, is it? Also, in the martial arts world, the magical kid who stood up from the bench in the last game. According to the latest news we have received, Jianghu has already been selected as the starting lineup in this game. What do you think of this young player's strength? Is it possible for him to lead the Guangdong team out of difficulties? Yang Yi shook his head and smiled, then said, what about the martial arts world? I admit he played well in the last game. If I remember correctly, he made 13 out of 17 shots and scored 34 points, right? He rose from the bench and helped this Guangdong team turn the tide, creating a remarkable feat. But I think his outburst was accidental. He is not a player of the same level as in the previous game. The previous game was more like a flash in the pan, or rather a flash of inspiration. It's very simple, right? As the head coach of Guangdong team and the future head coach of a national brand, you're not a fool, are you, Du Fengdu? If playing in the game is his normal level, then he has already started. He should even be the core of Guangdong team building, replacing Yi Jianlian's position. Why has he been on the bench all along? He doesn't have that ability, you know. To be honest, he is still a child. The game we are currently playing is the final of a professional league. Although our league level is not as good as that of the United States, Europe, or even Australia, the gap between us and the league level is not significant. However, this is a professional league, and the players on the field are experienced veterans who have been playing for many years. Your martial arts talent is very good, but after all, he is only 18 years old. Normally, he is still a child in his third year of high school or graduating from high school. A child full of talents has never appeared in the CBA. Let's not just talk about the players we've played in the CBA. Let's talk about Moody from the Guangdong team in the past 2 years. What level of skill is he? He is a top scorer in the NBA, and his talent is unparalleled worldwide. But what about the result? In the end, he didn't end up with a drop in the bucket when he joined the Guangdong team. At the beginning, people were basically in the top 3 of the predicted draft rankings, except for Wiggins and Parker. The remaining predicted draft picks ranked 3rd, 4th, and 5th, constantly hovering between him and Abby Russell. As a result, he made a trip to the CBA and completely exposed his shortcomings in projection ability, dropping from being a top scorer to 7th overall. As a child, he found it difficult to adapt to the intense competition in professional leagues. Besides, when they play the regular season and you play the finals, can the intensity of the game be the same? No matter how talented you are, can you surpass Moody? To be honest, this player in the martial arts world, who is not familiar with Guangdong's fans, has never heard of him at all. Why haven't you heard of him? Isn't it because he's not strong enough? He played a little better in the last game, and also made it to the draft prediction ranking. How many places did he get? Over 120. There are 60 NBA draft picks selected worldwide every year, which means there are 2 rounds of NBA draft picks before it's your turn. With such talent, how can you compete with others? There's no way. So, it's not realistic to rely on the martial arts world to win this game. The burden of shouldering the team will ultimately fall on your team's leader, Jianlian. Why did the Guangdong team struggle so hard in the previous games and didn't win a single game in the NBA Finals? Because they didn't have a tacit understanding. Jianlian only returned to the team at the end of the season. He went to pursue his dream before, returned to the NBA, and went to the Lakers, right? At the end of the season, he found that he didn't have many playing opportunities, so I came back to China. In fact, their team's adaptation level is very poor. And what is the difficulty of a 0.3 comeback? Do you know that the NBA has experienced over 140 instances of a 0.3 deficit in the past 70 years, without a single successful comeback? The CBA has also experienced 30 instances of a 3.0 lead in the past 20 years, and no one has overturned it, making it an unsolvable problem in world sports history, basically impossible to solve. To be honest, I am optimistic about the Guangdong team, but it's not this season, but next season. Next season, Jianlian will get along well with the entire team, and then the young man in the martial arts world will practice more in the regular season, improving the overall strength of the team. Zhou Qi, who is facing the XJ team, went to the NBA. Against each other's strengths, the Guangdong team has the best chance of winning the championship. However, this year, to be honest, they have no chance. And this year's championship belongs 100% to XJ. Teacher Yang Yi's barrage of shots left Duan Ran speechless and unable to refute, but Duan Ran always believed that the Guangdong team could create miracles. Many Guangdong fans in front of the TV also believe that they may create miracles. Because miracles are always created by humans, and the emergence of that inexperienced young man from the Guangdong team in the previous game seems to be a quite incredible miracle. BJ time, 8:30 p.m. The XJ Hongshan Arena, the 2016-17 CBA Finals, officially began. XJ team starting lineup. Defenders: Darius Adams, 79, Sierra Lijiang, 69, forwards. Li Zhen, 72, Zhou Qi, 77, and Blake, 77, Guangdong team starting. Defenders: Zhou Peng, 69, Zhao Rui, 69, forwards. Clarence Williams, 76, Jianghu, 85, Jianlian, 79. The current foreign aid policy of CBA is 4 quarters with 6 players, which means that XJ team can use double foreign aid in the 2 quarters of the 4 quarters, while Guangdong team only has 1 foreign aid, Williams, which is one of the reasons why XJ team is more favored. With the whistle of the referee, the match between Guangdong and XJ officially began. The XJ team was the first to gain possession of the ball, and Bryce defeated Jianlian, giving them the opportunity to launch an attack. Adams dribbled the ball to the front court, and the outfield Surly took a lap from the bottom line before fully charging to the top line. Blanche went up from the 3-second zone to the free throw line and helped Sierra Lijiang block Zhao Rui, who was chasing and defending. This is a side no-ball cover, and Sierra Lijiang's running caught everyone's attention. Adams took this opportunity to dribble 2 steps directly to the basket, and threw a shot outside the 3-second zone to score. Yang Yi smiled and said, on the first goal of the game, the XJ team completed a beautiful 3-man coordination. Adams used the blocks and tackles of Zilijiang and Blue Che to attract everyone's attention, easily lay up and score. This is XJ's tactical literacy. Duan Ran said, that's right, let's see if Guangdong can give back one. If they can't defend against the XJ team's attack, they should show their own characteristics. End of this chapter. Chapter 10. Human to Human, Angry to Death. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 10. Human to Human, Angry to Death. The Guangdong team is attacking, and Williams takes the ball to the front court. As soon as they arrived at the front court, the martial arts world used their calves to shake off Zhou Qi, who was following them. Then, the orange basketball was passed to the top of the martial arts world by Williams. Jianghu reached out to catch the basketball, but the speed under his feet did not decrease. Instead, he continued to shift gears and accelerate, with Li Jian and Zhou Qi closely following behind him. Yi Jianlian, on the other hand, came to the outside and cleared the basket for the martial arts world. His eyes were fixed on the martial arts world, hoping that he could score this goal. The martial arts world did not disappoint them, not even looking at the 2 people on their bodies. They continued to accelerate and took 2 steps to reach the basket. Just 2 steps past the free throw line, Jiang immediately put away the basketball and stood up with the ball in his left hand. His calf muscles tightened, his center of gravity slightly squatted down, and then he rose into the air like a compressed spring, holding the ball in his left hand and flying towards the basket, as if a cheetah was charging towards the prey. Bang! The entire audience almost tightly covered their mouths, fearing that they would cheer for their opponents at home. They saw the martial arts world almost soaring in the air, twisting their waist in the air. The basketball was forcefully shifted from the crotch to the right hand with his left hand, and then he forcefully threw the ball into the basket with both hands. Bang! The hands of the martial arts world collided strongly with the basket, and the sound of dunking spread in all directions through the amplifier on the basketball rack. More than 4,000 spectators took a breath of air almost at the same moment, then tightly covered their mouths, afraid of screaming. Duan Ran in the Penguin studio stood up almost immediately and excitedly explained. Guangdong team attacking, Wims passing, Jianghu receiving and breaking through. 1 step of acceleration directly shook off Zhou Qi, 2 steps from the free throw line, and a crossover dunk from the crotch in the air. Oh my God, what is he doing? He's actually doing a crotch dunk. Is this really a dunk that I can enjoy in the CBA? With the first attack at the beginning, the martial arts world has secured the top spot in the top 10 goals. With such speed and dunk completion, is this the forward line of Guangdong men's basketball in the new era? At this moment, the entire audience reacted from shock. Although they restrained themselves from cheering, their eyes were already filled with disbelief and disbelief. The cheerleading girls from the XJ team on the sidelines had already starry eyes. If it weren't for the regulations in the league and being the cheerleading team of the home team, they would have gone crazy and rushed to the rivers and lakes to ask for WeChat. After all, in the CBA, when have you ever seen such a handsome crotch dunk? And the player who dunked seems to look very handsome after dunking. The martial arts world looked up at the away fans with their heads raised, pointed their thumbs at themselves, and loudly said, I heard that Hongshan is the devil's home court, and I play the devil's home court. The fans on site really wanted to boo the martial arts world, but it was strange that many people couldn't speak up. After all, as a basketball enthusiast, I would love such an exciting dunk. Even as opponents, they couldn't bear to boo. So, the Red Mountain Gymnasium, which is regarded as the most devilish home stadium of the CBA, was booed by the audience, and there was no sign of the grandeur of the Devils' home stadium. Watching this scene and listening to the sparse boos of the audience, the martial arts world couldn't help but smile and shake its head, continuing to launch an attack. The game continued, and with the whistle of referee 58 and the gesture of landing with both hands to serve, Adams picked up the ball and sent it to Zhou Qi. Zhou Qi put away his shocked mind and took a deep look at this young genius who had never been on the draft prediction list before. Yesterday, he made his first appearance on the list and ranked in the top 120. He thought he was the ceiling of the new generation of domestic players, but after watching the game in the martial arts world, his proud heart seemed to have been heavily punched by someone. In the eyes of the audience, this dunk may just be an ordinary crossover dunk. At most it's not very common in the CBA, but only the players from both teams and some veteran football fans who have watched the game for many years know what it means to be able to easily break free from the pursuit and defense of the two, and dunk under the free throw line in real combat. It means superb ball control skills, top-notch speed, top-notch physical coordination, and top-notch air-stopping ability. With these alone, coupled with his only 18-year-old age, it is impossible for him to be selected in the draft in the martial arts world. The prediction of 120 spots is simply absurd. Why does anyone who stands out from the end of the bench look even stronger than me? This question is beyond Zhou Qi's comprehension. Perhaps shocked by the deduction in the martial arts world, the XJ team made a basic mistake in the next round. During the breakthrough, Zhou Qi surprisingly dribbled the ball onto his own foot and bounced out of bounds. Guangdong team effortlessly regained the ball's rights. The previous attack was so exciting, and after coming to the front court, as a foreign player who loves to share the ball, Williams once again threw the ball to the martial arts world. The Jianghu looked at Zhou Qi, who was following him, and shook his body slightly. Zhou Qi didn't move. He was about 2 steps away from the Jianghu, obviously afraid of a breakthrough in the Jianghu. After all, if it weren't for his failure to keep up with the lightning-fast pace of the martial arts world in the first goal just now, there wouldn't have been that dunk. With a distance of 2 steps and such a large gap, there is no reason for the martial arts world to let go. He straightened his calves with force, and simultaneously exerted force on his waist and abdomen, directly pulling a jump shot from a distance of 1 step outside the 3-point line. The basketball was like a sharp arrow, drawing a beautiful curve and diving into the net. Shwa, the basketball crawled into the net, causing a wave of white waves. When Zhou Qi looked back, he only saw the basketball enter the net, and his teammates went to serve under the basket again. Seeing Zhou Qi's bewildered expression, the entire audience couldn't help but boo. At this moment, they remembered that they were fans of the XJ team. If they won this game, they would have won the championship. Upon hearing the boos of the fans on the field, the martial arts world not only did not feel uncomfortable, but also showed an expression of enjoyment. Shoo, the louder you boo, the better. The louder the boo, the better it feels when I score. And you, Zhou Qi, can you represent the future of the Chinese men's basketball team even with you? Today I'm going to show you what kind of performance a true future national brand leader should have. The game continues, with XJ team attacking. The XJ team ran a tactic, and Zhou Qi found Williams in a misplaced position, wanting to use his height and arm span to hit a response ball. After all, Williams was only 198 centimeters tall, and it was a bit difficult to defend Zhou Qi, who was 216 centimeters tall with an arm span of 233. In addition, he suffered some injuries in the mid-season and couldn't exert too much force on his ankle, so he was quickly knocked back by Zhou Qi. Williams was just about to continue posting, but Zhou Qi had already taken the lead in throwing with his flexibility. Pop! A figure rushed over from the right like lightning, with both hands nailing Zhou Qi's throw onto the rebound. Yi Jianlian, who was under the basket, immediately threw the ball to the front court, and after blocking it, the Jianghu team once again rushed towards the front court like an arrow flying away from the string. Adams, who was near the penalty line, bit his lip and wanted to catch up with Jianghu to send a foul, but the speed of Jianghu was too fast. He could only watch Jianghu shift gears all the way and then leave him far behind in the end. I could only watch helplessly as the martial arts world threw basketball in the front court and made a backhand dunk. Unbelievable, unbelievable. After many years, we can finally see what our country's true top talents look like. The last player like him, still behind him, silently applauded him. XJ team requests a pause. They seem to have nothing to do with the martial arts world. After the pause, the XJ team immediately changed their defensive formation from man-to-man defense to joint defense, hoping to limit their breakthroughs in the martial arts world. The first goal that came back from the pause was indeed not scored in the middle distance of the martial arts world. The players of XJ team finally breathed a sigh of relief, but soon, they realized that they had breathed a sigh of relief too early because the martial arts world is still constantly attacking. His response is very simple: are you on joint defense? Okay, then use medium range to deal with you. He receives the ball from the outside and can basically pass the defender with just one step, making a mid-range open jump shot. Mid-range, God's weapon. It's just so powerful. In the 6-minute game time, Jianghu made 6 out of 8 shots, added free throws and scored another 14 points. With the 7 points earned at the beginning of the game, before the end of the first quarter, Jianghu had already made 9 out of 11 shots and scored 21 points, completely turning XJ's home court into their own community stadium, and this is just a microcosm of this game. In this game, the martial arts world was like a god-possessed body, destroying every player who was against them, whether it was Li Jian, Abdul Salamo, or Zhou Qi, who were all ravaged by the martial arts world. No one in the game could keep up with the speed of the martial arts world, reaching 90 points, almost all of them were defeated by him in one step. Faced with the attack of the martial arts world, they have no other choice but to commit a foul. In the third quarter, they once attempted to double-team in the martial arts world as soon as they entered the 3-point line, but the outside teams Wilms and Zhao Rui each hit 3 points, causing their double-team to suffer a painful driving experience. 101.67, this is not the end of the game, it's the score of 3 quarters. In just 3 quarters, with a terrifying shooting average of 21 out of 31, the Jianghu team scored 47 points, grabbed 9 rebounds, and provided 6 assists, almost turning XJ into a silent home game. XJ fans take a look at the world, then at their own NBA talents. They make 4 out of 12 shots, 3 out of 6 free throws, 11 points, 9 rebounds, and 4 turnovers. The performance of the two is like comparing people to death, and comparing goods to goods is like throwing them away. About half of the fans in Hongshan Stadium have already left early, and the remaining fans are not staying to cheer for XJ, but to boo XJ. RNM, refund. Do you deserve this kind of behavior from us? Still winning the championship. Take a bird's crown. Where are you going to win the championship like this? Zhou Qi, can you be a little tough? You have no face. Thanks to the blessings of the martial arts world, the XJ team enjoyed the first time in their history being insulted by their own fans at home. In the fourth quarter of the game, the martial arts world did not continue to play, but there was still bad news that Guangdong fans did not want to hear on the field. Brothers, if you like this book, you must keep reading it. Whether you die or live in this book is in your hands. Thank you all. End of this chapter.